well, I don't know about you guys, but definitely looks kinked to me. How does my clock keep on getting progressively early? I haven't disconnected the battery. Hey everybody, welcome to another video. Today's video came up short notice, kind of unexpected. I just started working on the bike because the KLX got its first issue and it started becoming unrideable. I got some footage here. We're gonna start off in the garage, get out on the bike, because pretty funny lesson here for the KLX. Like I said, KLX was not rideable. Was about to go to a car meet, couldn't ride it there. Got it in the garage, checked over some things, and the issue was something that I should have checked first. I even said I should have checked it first, but I didn't. So let's go ahead, get into the footage, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, so last video you heard me talking about the KLX was misfiring. And I thought it was a spark plug. Pulled the plug, it's not fouled out or anything. Of course I checked all the ignition stuff, coil, plug, and then the only thing that could cause it really to misfire, I guess, is fuel. So I remembered that my fuel hose was kinked before, and I didn't change it because it wasn't kinked that bad, but obviously you can see right there the fuel hose is pretty kinked right there. So we're gonna cut the rubber back, see how kinked the hose is, and we're probably gonna try and make our own line here instead of giving Kawasaki $100 for this whole new assembly, which is kind of dumb. So there's a rubber hose on the outside, and then the hose itself looks like it's plastic, so probably gonna have to try and get that off the fitting so that way I can get a rubber hose clamp so that way it doesn't leak. But let's go ahead, cut back the hose and see how it is. Alright, well, I don't know about you guys, but definitely looks kinked to me. Right here, plastic looks pretty kinked. Gonna try and cut that plastic off the fittings here so that way I can get a rubber hose and fit it on there. Okay everybody, we got the plastic hose off, and so now we just have the fitting here, so we can go down to the auto parts store, get the correct size hose and a clamp, and the KLX should be good to go. We're back home here with the new fuel line clamps. So we have some fuel injection hose here, 5/16 diameter. I actually put the fitting in and I couldn't get it back out, so I'd say it fits. And then we have our fuel injection hose clamps here as well that we're gonna put on the fittings. Actually pretty funny, when I went to the store, the first store, the guy said, "Are you trying to go from hard line to soft line?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Don't do that, you're gonna blow up the line." It's like, good thing I caught you before you hurt yourself. So I don't think we're gonna have any issues. It's a high pressure fuel line, and it's also braided as well. I'm not sure exactly what it's braided with. And I've also seen other people replace the hard line that comes on the KLX to a soft line, so I think we're good there. Just kind of a funny occurrence at the auto parts store. So now we're gonna go ahead, mount this side up to the fuel tank, make sure the angle is correct on the fitting so that way we don't have any binding, and we're gonna cut it, get the hose clamps on, and then the KLX should be good to go. Okay, got one side done here. Fuel injection hose clamp on, fitting. Now we just got to cut the hose down to size. This string here is about as long as a stock hose, gonna make it a little bit longer so I don't have to go back and get another one, because you can always trim it down but can't add it back up. We're about 9 inches for the hose length from, of course, the end of the hose here to the other end of the hose. Okay, we got our new line assembled here. Hose clamps, flexible line, and then the other hose clamps. So let's go ahead, get it on the fuel tank on the bike, give the KLX a quick start up, and go for a ride. Back together, let's go for a ride. Out here on the KLX, we're gonna go for a test ride. Got to get some gas first. So that's the other thing too that could cause, I guess, a misfire. some bad gas. The gas I put in here, it's been sitting in a can for at least a month. I wouldn't think the gas would go bad that fast, but I guess you never know with modern gas. So, like I said, the KLX developed a misfire at the end of the dunes trip. Thought it was a spark plug because I choked off the airbox by putting the lid back on, so that way I wouldn't get as much sand in there. Got home, checked the plug, it was a little black, but I didn't think it was anything to be super worried about. So I took the airbox lid off, cleaned the filter, did all that dune maintenance, started riding the bike, and it was doing pretty good. And then I went out to go make a video. Last video, I believe it was, by the time you're seeing this, sliding the KLX around. KLX started misfiring again. And it was kind of all over the board. It wasn't a consistent spot like it was when I was running the EJK in the big bore around 6500, 7000. It wasn't like that. Sometimes it was down low, sometimes it was up top when I was near full throttle. So of course, checked the plug again, and I just changed it out to be on the safe side. So I went to car meet later that night. Ran okay on the way there. Didn't really notice misfires at all. And then on the way back, as soon as I got out of the lot, leaving the lot, KLX started bucking, shaking and all that. That told me that, you know, it really wasn't anything temperature related, wasn't the KLX overheating, because I had just started the bike up. I even checked the tune just to see if anything magically changed with that. I couldn't really tell if it was, you know, a rich misfire or a lean misfire, but usually if it's a rich misfire, you have to be pretty dang rich. So I figured that, you know, it could be a lean misfire, cutting out, lean cut, however you want to say it. So the only thing that I could really think of is, well, a clogged injector. Don't see how that could happen. And then I remembered that kink in the hose, which it didn't seem too bad when I first noticed it, so I just left it. Seemed to be running fine with the big bore EJK for a little bit, and I just decided not to change it because it's $100 for a new line. And someone in the comments told me, well, why would you do that? Just go to an auto parts store, get a new line, put it on there. So like I did today, went to the auto parts store. They told me, well, you're gonna have to get that plastic off the fitting. So I did that, went back. The older gentleman told me, oh no, you're gonna blow the line. Seems to be fine for me right now. Alright, how much money is the KLX gonna take away from me today? Oh geez, $4.63. She's a thirsty girl. $1.46. It's like 6 o'clock right now. How does my clock keep on getting progressively early? Haven't disconnected the battery. Okay, everybody. Do you ever just have a duh moment? Hit yourself in the head, say, what was I thinking? Yeah, I definitely just had one of those. So as you guys saw there in the last clip, I cut it off. I was talking about how my time was changing. It kept on getting earlier and earlier. I know this because after I got it back from the shop, it was about an hour and 40 minutes too early. And me being lazy did not change the time. So when I was out making that ride about why the KLX was running rough, I noticed that it was way earlier than an hour and 40 minutes, more like 4 hours. And I was talking about all the things that could have caused misfire, you know, fuel not getting enough, too much. I figured that it wasn't getting enough because that fuel line was pretty kinked. So fast forward, I'm going to a car meet. Don't have my car back yet, so I'm taking the KLX. Figured I'd get some extra content for you guys. I go to meet up with my buddies who are heading out to the car meet. Gonna ride with them, or I guess follow them in their cars. And the KLX is not rideable at all. I get on the throttle, 4,000 RPM, it starts missing, sputtering, coughing, hacking. Does that pretty much all the way to 7,000. When I am able to get on the throttle, it goes, but then it misses hard at 7,000 RPM. I'm like, this is not normal. The KLX is not wanting to run at all. So I figured, well, maybe go into the dunes. Got some sand in the ejector, clogged it up, fuel pump, whatever, because it started happening at the end of the dune session. Here's a little clip of that. So as I shift in the second there, I believe, that's how I was running the other day here as I was trying to head to the meet. So I take it back, start checking everything. I was going to check the spark plug, the coil again. So this time I decided to check my controller to make sure everything's good with that. The tune hasn't changed, of course. Make sure all the grounds, connections and stuff are all good. Everything's good there. So I checked the negative terminal of the battery where the power commander connects. Said, hey, I want to kind of reroute these wires so that way there's less of a possibility of them getting crimped, kinked, whatever. So I started doing that. Finish that up, and then I look at my positive terminal because there's that little rubber cap on there to keep dust and dirt out, I would assume. I move that, and when I move that, all the cables on the positive terminal can be rotated 180 degrees. I can move each cable up and down a couple of millimeters. That's bad. Positive terminal's loose, not making contact, and that right there is going to cause issues with ignition. So there's my duh moment. I was making this video about the KLX having a misfire. I noticed that the clock is wrong. I'm like, probably should have checked the battery first. But oh well. I probably fixed it. Didn't seem to be doing the misfiring anymore after I changed the fuel line. But it was indeed the battery terminal. And it's kind of surprising that it was able to shake loose and the bolt back out on the battery post. But I guess it makes sense at the dunes because I did rattle out my exhaust end cap bolts. So I guess if those can be rattled out, so can the battery terminal. But as you can see, the KLX is ripping now. So yeah, here I am thinking I have this big problem, and it was the battery cable. I actually did that recently too with my exhaust. After I think I made the Yamaha video, I heard a rattling noise, and it seemed like it was coming from the top end. So I pull the fuel tank off, valve cover, get down to check the valves, make sure that they're still in time, no piston to valve contact, they're perfectly in time. Then I go to check my exhaust. I touch the bolt to block off the O2 bung, and it is loose. So I guess it's just another example. Check the simple things first, because they could very well be it. So let's go ahead and cut to that footage, because at the end of the car meet, I rode back with my friends, and they both have DRZ 400 SMs, and it was a pretty fun ride back. And it was really my first time riding with the DRZ with the KLX here. And let me know down in the comments if you guys want to see a comparison video with the DRZ. I think it'd make for a great video. But see you guys in a sec. What's up? How's it going? Pretty good. are heading home, and we're riding with my buds here with two DRZ 400 SMs. Let me know down in the comments if that is a video you guys would like to see. Maybe do a race, switch bikes, see what I think about it, and see how the KLX does with these mods. But it should be good hanging with them on the highway here on the way back. Is it shooting flames?
Yeah, it did.
It did?
Yeah, it was like, it wasn't a lot, but it was like...
So did yours.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. I wish I had my GoPro so you can see it inside.
Is there a lot?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Shooting flames. Yes? Yeah. Oh. Dude, it's like this big.
No way.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Time, that was for sure. We're gonna have to do a group ride with them. I can tell things get a little crazy. Big thumbs up. Also share to your friends and those who may enjoy it. And of course, if you're not subscribed, go down there, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell on to keep up with all the action here. Glad we found out the issue with the KLX, why it wasn't running right. Something simple but easily overlooked. But with all that being said, join the club, and I'll see you in the next one.